name's Sherry Rose, and I'm going to speak today to what brought me to speak about this, because as a person who's not an attorney, I want to say that the current rules about who can stay in your home are confusing, complex, and convoluted, and probably take many more than the PhD and law degree that we have in our home to understand. And I'd like them to be clear and help protect civil rights of people so they can choose who lives in their home with them and not have to read so many different chapters and places in this code that it's very confusing. So I want to tell a story of how I came to understand how confusing this is. So when we first found out about the overlay coming into our neighborhood, I was told that we would need a rental license if my daughter had a friend stay with us in our home for the summer for over 30 days and then another 30 days, 60-day total. So the friend would be in our house from May through August. I was told you need a rental license for that, so we applied for a rental license, but then when you have an overlay in your neighborhood, you can't get a rental license anymore, so we didn't get a rental license. Then I was told, it's okay, you can say it's a domestic unit. That's like a family with that friend in the house. And I said, wait a minute, a domestic unit is a person whose association is temporary or seasonal in nature. Is not. It cannot be someone who is temporary or seasonal in nature for a limited duration. So they said, oh, you're right, it's not a domestic unit, you can't have that person. So then this weekend, I read the news, WKAR article where Mark said, they can have any guests they want. They can stay there as long as they want to, as long as they're not paying rent. So I don't know what they're talking about. And I spoke with Mark today, and he confirmed that that's the actual rules of East Lansing. And I thought, why have I been waiting 9 months to get someone to put in writing for me that I can have my daughter's friend in the house with us for the summer for more than 60 days? And he said, yes, that's the rule. So I went and I looked at what is the rule about guests in your home. And it says a guest is any person who occupies a room for living or sleeping purposes without consideration and for no longer than 30 consecutive days, no more than 60 days in a year, except that for dwellings not required to be licensed pursuant to Chapter 10, which is the list of exceptions that Mr. Altman has referred to. Guest means a person who occupies a room for living or sleeping purposes in a dwelling unit with the owner or owner's family residing therein without consideration. So today, Annette Irwin also repeated to me that I could have a guest in my house for however long I wanted to, as long as they're not paying rent, the same thing that Mark said. And I said, but that doesn't make sense to me because it says here that a rental unit is any dwelling occupied or offered for occupancy by any person other than the owner, owner's family, or guest as defined in this article. So then I had to go and find buried where that definition was of guest, which said 60 days total, 30 and then 60 altogether. So I read all of this, and I said to Annette today, so who does this guest provision apply to? I'm unclear. This is very unclear. And she said it only applies to rental units. So if you have a rental unit, the rental unit can only have a guest in the rental unit for 30 days and then another 30 days. I said, so why haven't I been told that until now? Could you please put that in writing?
30 seconds remaining.
So we can clarify all this. I said, perhaps you can have the lawyer put that in writing. And I said the same thing to Mark. He said, I'm not going to do that. But it would be wonderful if we could hear that everybody in East Lansing could have guests. And Mark happened to write, they can stay there as long as they want to, which is plural. And so that means more than one, and Annette said one, so again, we have lack of clarity and confusion. So we really need to clear this up, and that's what we hope to do.
Thank you for your input.